back to my channel. I'm eca.fairy, and in today's video I'm sharing with you once again my passion for traveling by giving you my best Barcelona travel itinerary. I'm going to talk to you about the last time I went. It was last year in February for my anniversary with my boyfriend. And we began our visit at the aquarium because it was later in the evening. We still had a few hours before the aquarium was closing and we were kind of far away from the other touristical attractions, so we decided on the aquarium. And also I had seen pictures of it online and it was so pretty, so informative actually, and really aesthetic. So if you want some cute pictures with like cute fish, cute wildlife, like sea wildlife, that is the place. We were actually so surprised by the diversity of wildlife that they had there because we literally did not expect that. My favorite from all of the sea animals, I guess, marine animals that we saw was this one. I think this is called a sea cat, but I'm not sure. Do you see how pretty? Like the fact that nature created her with this polka dot pattern was just crazy to me. Like this is so pretty, and the walls are filled with really informative explanations divided by a geographical region, so you can really just travel like all around the world in the same place. Also, these jellyfish were just mind-blowing, and obviously you can also see really cool sharks in multiple places of the aquarium. And the best part is, I think, in the second half of the aquarium, like second half of the tour, which is this tunnel that you go through that has like one of those bands that you stand on and it slowly takes you through the corridor, so you can just sit and admire everything around you and above you. And that automatic band just takes you at a really slow speed, so you can just take everything in, take pictures, see all the fish. It was really fascinating and really cool that they have like this literal water tunnel that you go through, and also some interactive exhibits, which was really cool, really educative actually. You can press these buttons and it shows you different species, different regions of the world, and where you can find those species. It was really interesting. And the gift shop is really adorable. We got a small pink dolphin from there as a souvenir, and overall we loved the aquarium, and it was a really good start, especially because we arrived later, as I was saying, and we wouldn't have had time to visit Park Güell, for example. We didn't really have time to eat in restaurants when we were in Barcelona. However, one that I actually can recommend you like fully, because we did have time to sit down that evening, is Terrazza Ravello. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing this right though. This had the best sangria that we tasted in our whole trip. Also get the sangria cava, even though I don't know what the general opinion about sangria cava is. However, we loved it. It was our first time tasting it, and we did taste it afterwards in other places, but we didn't have the time to sit down, as I was saying. However, it was extremely good and the food was really great as well. I'm also going to be sprinkling throughout this video some small mistakes, let's say, that I think we did, and I would really love to not do them again next time when we visit. And I would definitely encourage you guys to stay away from this sort of mistakes. And for us, it was not taking transport, not taking public transport, not Ubering, like none of that. We literally walked like almost all the time, like everywhere, and it was really good. Like in hindsight, we don't regret it. However, it was really exhausting and our legs and feet just hurt all the time. We really loved traveling, and when we got there we were so excited because the weather was great, the sights were great, the people were great, everything was amazing, and we just wanted to see everything and experience it, you know, by foot. So we just made this mistake of walking like a lot when it didn't make sense to walk, and I'm going to tell you when in my opinion it makes sense, and I really think you should walk and not take public transport a bit later in this video. However, as a general thing, as you're leaving your accommodation and as you're going back to your accommodation at night, do take some sort of transport. Like, do take that unless you're like really close to it and it doesn't make sense financially or time-wise, or everything is just too crowded, or you just want to take a walk, as I was saying, because we really wanted to, because you will kind of regret, because you will be so tired. Our second day began with the visit of Park Güell, which was one of the coolest things that we saw, and I definitely suggest, if you can, to book your tickets beforehand and make sure that you book them at a time slot earlier in the day, I would say, because there aren't that many people in the beginning of the morning. However, when we went, of course, still there were so many people in the most popular parts of the park. For example, here at the famous balconies, you couldn't almost like walk at some point because there were so many people. However, one mistake that I've seen some people do, we didn't fortunately, is just almost run, like just hurry through the whole park to make it to these balconies and then like take some pictures and leave. And I'm personally saying that I think that's a mistake, because the whole park is designed for you to actually take stroll through. It has a really well thought message behind it, like just small details that are so enjoyable. You can also see lots of flowers. It also depends on the season that you're visiting. However, I think this was a really good time for us to visit. It was pretty warm, but still not extremely warm, so we didn't melt. In all, Park Güell was one of the best things that we visited when we were in Barcelona. Like, it was definitely better than the aquarium, for example. I think the best walk that you can take in Barcelona, in my opinion, as I was saying, because we walked a lot, is the one from Park Güell to Casa Mila. It did take like a while because we also stopped a lot on the way, take pictures of so many amazing buildings and places and parks and so on. One of my very few but really big regrets about our trip to Barcelona was the fact that we didn't have time to visit Casa Vicent. So this is also designed by Gaudi, and I am a huge fan, like a huge admirer of everything that he designed, that he created. This, as you can see, is also really different from his other works. I feel like obviously each one of his works has something really like extremely unique about it. However, as you can see, this is like really colorful, like these really warm and bright colors, and it looks stunning. If you're staying for like more than 1 or 2 days in Barcelona, definitely, like, this is one of the best things that you can do, is visit Casa Mila and Casa Batlló. Pretty much in the same area. We walked from Park Güell to Casa Mila, as I was telling you. We had booked tickets to this one. However, it is a definite gem. Every single room is extremely special. It really felt like the house was still lived in, the way the decor was made. It's obviously an architectural gem. I was really mind blown by this inner courtyard that it has, and also rooftop, which when we got there, I was literally like, my mouth was hanging open because I just couldn't understand how a human being can be so amazing and create this kind of architectural designs and just imagine these things and make them reality. To me, it was just wow. Towers of the rooftop, some of them represent the 4 elements. The rooftop had a lot of heavy philosophical symbolism behind it, and you can see Sagrada Familia from there. And that's a thing for the next day, and until then we are reaching Casa Batlló. We're actually not planning to see Casa Batlló, and we decided to do that on a whim. It was really random because we also had to get to another museum that I'm going to tell you about in a minute. However, I think that it was the best spontaneous decision from the whole trip. For this house, most of its inspiration is marine life, sea creatures, and a lot of the rooms are actually walls. Even the shape of the walls and the texture of the walls is created as such. The light plays a really important role. It does in most of Gaudi's work. However, here I felt like it was way more special. Like, for example, here it has an inner stairway that's painted blue, but as you can see, as you go up, tiles are getting smaller and darker, so that part would reflect the light downwards, downstairs. So the rooms that were downstairs that had these whiter tiles, these lighter tiles surrounding them, would also receive light, so this would be like a balancing factor. And just thinking about all these details is pure genius to me. The woodwork is extremely well polished, well rounded. It looks very organic. Everything about this house felt like it was breathing inside, and this is one of the very few places that I definitely think that the audio guide, like, you get, I think it's free, I'm not sure. When we went, it was a free audio guide with the purchase of your ticket. It was really worth it because it was like a storytelling experience. It wasn't just telling you, now go and sit there and look at whatever. It was literally describing so well, and I don't think we would have understood, I think, this well if we didn't have the audio guide. Here, this balcony has these really stunning windows. It could be opened, it could be like an opened balcony if you wanted to. All the windows were retractable. The top is extremely special. It has this dragon-like symbolism about it. And look at this corridor, for example. This is right before you exit on the rooftop, and everything looks again extremely organic here. Everything is polished, and all of these arches are created in a special way by Gaudi, so it could hold the building together. It's like a really big architectural masterpiece. The last museum that we visited in this day was the Banksy Museum, which was a really big departure from the style that we had seen throughout the day, obviously, but it was also really, if you are an art enthusiast or an art lover, or if you still have a bit of time on your hands, definitely go and see it. It was a really cool experience. We didn't really know much about Banksy before, but it has these informative videos about him, also about how people started pretending to be him. The paintings are as I was saying, like have these really powerful, mostly political but also social messages. Our third day was mostly dedicated to Sagrada Familia because we had booked really in advance a tour, and from what I know now you cannot buy tickets on site, you have to buy them online beforehand, and if you get there and you don't have a ticket, they will make you buy it online. I could probably talk in a whole other video just about Sagrada Familia and how special it is and how everything about the details that Gaudi created are literally mind-blowing. I had seen Sagrada Familia before, both inside and outside, but visiting it again was just offering me a new perspective on it. Really think that if you have like one day in Barcelona, go to Sagrada Familia. I've heard people saying, like I've heard actually like guides saying this in my country, and I thought that was like really just a stupid and awful thing to say, that you're actually just wasting your time if you visit the inside of Sagrada Familia, because the story is outside and the inside doesn't really have anything on it. Really, if that's what you think, then we cannot be friends. Just talk to me after you've read about the significance of the inside, about how amazing again the thought and the work there is, about the way the arches represent the forest and the windows in the ceiling represent the sky. So it would be like when you're in the forest and you're looking and you're seeing the sky through the tree branches. Like every single detail is perfected and is thought to perfection. There's also a lot of details about the architectural work, as I was saying. So basically after you finish the audio guide, there is like the museum part where it explains a lot of symbolism again and really interesting facts. Then we took a walk on La Rambla, obviously, as one does when visiting Barcelona. We also saw Palau Güell, which is again a really different architectural work than all of the other ones. It has a totally different style. I'm pretty sure that you can visit this one as well. And the next day we are going to see one of the best brunch places that we found, but hang on because I have a few more things to tell you. Right after you exit La Rambla, you're going to be able to see the port again, and the restaurant that I told you from the first day is actually right by the port, but obviously not really in the same area. Our last day began with a visit at the rituals shop, actually, because as you know, I'm a huge rituals fan, and it was my first time entering an actual shop of theirs. And I don't know about any other rituals shop, however this one, extremely great. We entered and we were served tea that was supposed to induce you this calm meditative state, which I thought was really cool. They had so many products that they don't have usually in other shops, not in airports, nowhere else. And also this one had a separate section just for spa treatments, and I will probably guess that they were using the rituals products, because otherwise like why would you have a spa inside the shop? Anyways, I thought that was really cool. You could book appointments there. Then we went to the Museum of Illusions because I usually visit those when I go abroad, and this one was really different from what I was used to, because I was used to the ones that have like optical illusions and physics and mechanics kind of tricks and so on. No, this one was actually cooler and we had so much fun inside. A bit corny, I know, but I don't care. This is an actually really fun and cute memory that you can have from Barcelona. It doesn't take much time and it's literally taking these really fun pictures, and this art is actually really amazing. You're supposed to sit in certain points of the floor in order to be able to see a certain angle of the drawing, and then you are going to be able to take these really cool pictures. There weren't many people there, but I really think that it's way more fun than just, I don't know, sleeping in or spending one more hour sitting down at a restaurant, so definitely look into this. Then of course we walked to our next stop, which obviously again not a really good decision because our feet were killing us by that point. However, I don't regret it because we got to see a lot of really cool places. We even went through some more local streets, like really narrow streets. The brunch place that I was talking to you about earlier is Parada. As you can see, it looks really good and like really aesthetic. The coffee was really good as well, the tea was really good, and the serving was great, and it was just on a random corner of a street, just some locals there, and this was definitely a great find, and we needed some food to be energized. Before getting to the National Museum of Art of Catalonia, in my opinion, is one of the best museums that you can see in general from what I have been so far. I had seen it on a few few travel itineraries before and everybody was speaking really good words about it, and I am doing the same because this was an extremely educational and extremely fascinating museum. They give you a ticket that is available for 2 days because the museum is so big that if you were actually to look at everything and try to take pretty much everything in, you would need like a week or something. So obviously we had to kind of hurry up. However, we didn't realize, and this was like not a mistake, a small mistake that I suggest you don't do. We didn't realize how huge this was going to be, okay? How many exhibitions and how many time periods were going to be displayed. And when we started, we spent over an hour looking at medieval religious paintings and medieval religious art, and like, don't get me wrong, it's really interesting, but at some point it got repetitive. However, we were, yeah, okay, we are getting familiar with the local history and with the regional history. We're supposed to take everything in, and we thought that that was going to be like half of it or something. No, it was only like a quarter. So by the time that we were finished there, like with the really old exhibitions, we still had so much of it left to see. They also have extremely beautiful paintings, mostly from painters that were in the region or from Spanish painters in general. You could see a lot of local influences in the art. More than paintings, they also had furniture, which is always such a great thing to see in museums because I feel like it offers you another insight into the cultural perspective that you can have on a certain place. God, I miss Barcelona. It's still my favorite place from all the places that I've ever visited. I feel like it's literally calling to me every second. Whenever I went to Barcelona, I just felt like I was at home there for some reason. I like to believe that I lived there in a past life because otherwise I just cannot justify the intense connection that I have with the city. The artistic currents that the museum displays, as you can see, are from classic to really modern to symbolism to superrealism, so it's a really insightful journey through time. You can also see a Picasso painting in this museum. This was the first Picasso painting that I've ever seen, and the building in itself is really beautiful as well, and the surroundings are extremely beautiful. It's basically on a terrace, a really great spot for pictures as well, and it's surrounded by foliage, so you can also take like really beautiful pictures there. Also, one more thing that I thought was really cool but unfortunately is not there anymore as of the last time that I went. In the airport, in the duty-free shop, they had this huge Carolina Herrera perfume glass. Like, obviously it didn't have perfume in it, I think. However, as the biggest Carolina Herrera fan ever, I was so happy to see this. I really hope that this video was helpful to you guys. I really tried to convey you my itinerary and also include some helpful tips and some funny stories. And if you have more tips, definitely let us know down in the comment section. And if you like this type of content, make sure to also follow my travel playlist. Thank you so much for watching. Have fun in Barcelona, and I'll see you for this next time. Bye!